Most people believe that lies fail because someone makes a mistake. They imagine a slip of the tongue, a nervous glance, or a sudden change in behavior. But the truth is far more unsettling. Lies don't fail because of errors, they fail because the human mind was never designed to live inside a false reality for long periods of time. Tonight, this is not a story about violence. This is a story about pressure, about control, and about what happens inside the mind when reality and deception collide. Every lie creates weight, and sooner or later, that weight becomes visible. When a person tells the truth, the brain retrieves information. It remembers, it replays, it reconstructs. But when a person lies, the brain must do something far more complex. It must remember the truth, suppress it, invent an alternative, and then constantly monitor the reaction of the person listening. This process is called cognitive load, and cognitive load is the enemy of deception. The human brain can handle stress in short bursts, but maintaining a lie over time is like holding your breath underwater. At first it feels manageable, then uncomfortable, and eventually impossible. This is why liars don't usually fail at the beginning. They fail later, because lies require maintenance, and maintenance requires energy. Psychologists refer to this breakdown as behavioral leakage. Leakage is not dramatic. It doesn't look like panic. It looks subtle. A pause that lasts just a second too long. An answer that contains more detail than the question required. A sentence that begins confidently and ends defensively. These moments are not accidents. They are the mind buying time. One of the most common signs of deception is over-explanation. When innocent people answer questions, they tend to respond simply. They assume the truth is enough. But liars don't trust simplicity. They add layers. They add context. They add unnecessary detail. Not because they want to convince you, but because they are trying to convince themselves. Another key indicator is temporal confusion. Truth unfolds naturally. Memories are disorganized. They jump forward and backward. Lies, on the other hand, are rehearsed. They follow a clean timeline, beginning, middle, end. Ironically, the more perfect the story sounds, the less believable it becomes. This is why experienced investigators don't interrupt early. They let the person talk. Silence is one of the most powerful psychological tools. When silence fills a room, the human brain becomes uncomfortable. It seeks resolution. Truth-tellers sit with silence easily. Liars rush to fill it. They speak to regain control, and every extra word becomes data. Over time, contradictions don't appear suddenly. They drift. A detail changes slightly. A sequence rearranges itself. A certainty becomes conditional, not because the person forgot, but because the lie is decaying. Another mistake liars make is emotional misalignment. Real emotion is messy. It doesn't arrive on cue. Liars often display emotions that are either delayed or exaggerated. They react when they think they should react, not when the emotion actually occurs. This creates a subtle disconnect that listeners feel, even if they can't explain why. Eventually, the mind begins to seek escape. Maintaining a false reality requires constant vigilance, and vigilance is exhausting. This is why many confessions don't come from guilt. They come from relief. Relief from monitoring every word, every expression, every reaction. The moment the truth is spoken, the cognitive load collapses. The mind relaxes, and that relief can be visible almost instantly. Here is the paradox of deception. Lies are told to gain control, but the longer a lie exists, the more control it demands, until eventually the lie controls the person. This is why criminals don't fail because they are careless. They fail because they are human, and the human mind leaves traces, patterns, signals. No matter how intelligent someone is, no matter how prepared, the brain always looks for the fastest path back to reality. And in the end, the truth doesn't need to be forced. It only needs time. Because the most reliable witness in any investigation is not a camera or a recording. It is the human mind itself, and it always speaks, eventually.